When I did the welcome video, the official welcome video for this channel, this YouTube channel, the video is really short, but it took me about an hour to record the video. The reason being that I was trying to live up to some standard. Something I was trying to make it sound like it was flowing, or that I wasn't stumbling over words, or I knew exactly what I wanted to say. When the reality is, whenever I do videos, whether that's myself on my own, or when I'm talking, when I'm having conversations with other people and recording those conversations, I never have a script. They don't work for me, because when I try to have a script, I stumble over the words and I don't get it right, and I have to go round and round and round and round. And then I realised partway through doing that welcome video that, oh yeah, that isn't how I'm going to be carrying on these videos. It's not sustainable for me. It wouldn't be sustainable, and I knew that. But because it was the welcome video, I wanted it to be right. I wanted it to be. Perfectionism is a form of oppression. Oppression leads to trauma. And perfectionism shows up in so many ways. Not only does it show up in how oppressive cultures tell us that we should be living our lives, giving us these narrowly defined boxes that we need to fit into, otherwise we're not human, or we're not human enough, and then we get dehumanized for it. Or it's about our bodies, about the way they look, about the way they function, about our ability, and all the things. And if we don't meet this standard, this very, very privileged standard of humanity and of a body, we're told we're invalid somehow. And so it keeps us striving and striving and striving. It's a part of nearly all forms of oppression, I believe. And then we might have had direct messages in other forms of trauma, say from abusers, who gave us the message either verbally, or maybe they never said it out loud, but made you feel like if you could change something about yourself, then the abuse wouldn't have happened, making you feel like the abuse was your fault, and then you're forever striving to change that thing. The abuse was never your fault. It wasn't your fault. And this perfection that I believe all of us, to one extent or another, try to live up to, it's exhausting at best and can be deeply, deeply painful. And so I wanted this to be my next video. Call it You're Welcome 2.0. That I'm never going to show up in anything other than just me, how I am. I'm human. I'm complex, as I believe we all are. It's something I advocate for with my individual clients, in all my group work. It's something I write a lot about, is how we are all these complex beings, and we have all of these layers, including in our bodies, including our identities, including our experiences in life, including our personalities, and so on and so on and so on. We are complex beings, and that complexity should be celebrated, not hidden away. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand that it's really difficult to be pushing against the grain of an oppressive culture and society and systems and people all the time in trying to reclaim ourselves, reclaim our bodies, reclaim our identities. So I'm not saying any of this is easy. I think it's a practice that we will all return to, hopefully, at deeper and deeper layers as we go. I know for me it's a practice. Like I say, I made that video and I was doing it and I caught myself doing it, and then, oh, okay, yeah, there's an extra layer for me to work through. And yeah, it's exhausting. And I believe that your complexity is worth exploring. I believe my complexity is worth exploring. And I think it's what makes us human. And that is one of the core foundations of Trauma and Co. Is embracing our complexities and having compassion. That's another one, compassion for our complexities. I'll talk about the core principles maybe in another video, but these are some of the core aspects of what leads my work and what underpins it all. Complexity, compassion. Because perfectionism, it is a myth. We can keep striving and striving and striving, but there will always be something else to reach. And so it doesn't really exist. And along the way, it's oppressive and it's traumatic. Or it can be traumatic. And so I wanted to come here again today to say, hi, this is me, showing up as I am. And this is how it will be as we move forward in this. This is how it's always been across my other pages, across Trauma and Co's other pages. We show up as we are, in both in an attempt to reclaim our own sense of humanity, and also to advocate for trauma being humanised and these conversations being humanised, and what it looks like to be working with or living with trauma to be humanised instead of put out there in some box of striving for or reaching for or perfection. Because if it does exist, it's not going to be found here. I work with trauma, and I am in the exploration and processing of my own trauma right alongside you. Like I believe most, if not all of us are, or are living with, at least, in some way. And this is what these pages have always been here for. This is what this channel is here for. To meet you in your humanity, to meet you in your complexity, and to share in ours. We're human. We are all human. We will all make mistakes. We will all do harm, cause hurt, get things wrong. And still we get to show up in our humanity, and we get to show up in the accountability and repair and keeping coming back to compassion through all of it. And so that's what you'll find here. There will be times that there'll be videos that I struggle to put out there because I still have layers of this, many layers to unravel and to work through, and I am doing that work, and it will be it's a practice, and it's a process, and it's not linear, and it is not, I don't believe I will ever get to a point of, okay, I'm at completion point, because I'm human, again. We have all been conditioned in these cultures that we live in. And let's try to unravel some of it here. Let's try to show up here as human, as complex, and have so much compassion for it.